advisor during our lab meeting, I sent my online boyfriend a thigh pic to cope. Do it for mistress, right now. I looked up. My usually cold, stoic, and sharp-tongued advisor suddenly cleared his throat tight, and the tips of his ears turning bright red. Intrigued, I peeked at his phone screen. Right there, clear as day, was the exact message I had just sent. Oh my God. I froze, utterly dumbfounded. But my stupid, disobedient fingers had already dialed his number for a video call. The buzzing of Kevin's phone vibrated through the suffocating silence of our lab meeting. I never, in my wildest dreams, would have guessed that my cold-blooded, ruthless advisor was the same online boyfriend who whined and called me mistress in my DMs. Kevin's finger hovered over the screen. My heart leaped into my throat. Was he actually going to pick up? Please pick up. Just do it. Only 10 minutes ago, he had publicly humiliated me, calling the 5th draft of my thesis complete garbage. Once he realized I was his mistress, there was no way he would block my graduation. Oh, thank God. There was hope for my degree after all. I sat up straight, trying to look composed. The next second, the call was declined. My contact 6 feet 1 inch rich idiot 8-pack, a nickname I gave him, sent a flurry of texts. Baby, I'm in a lab meeting. It's not convenient right now. I'll call you later, okay? Transfer. $5,200. Puppy loves you to GIF. I froze, the grin still plastered on my face. Suddenly, Kevin's sharp voice shattered my thoughts. Iris, what are you smirking at? I gasped, jerking my head up. I met Kevin's cold, piercing gaze. He looked absolutely furious, staring at me with zero intention of saving my dignity. When you joined this department, you had no major research experience and barely any academic background.
I didn't even want you in my lab.
Your counselor practically begged me, saying you were a promising student with raw potential. And look at you now. Your experiments are a disaster. Your writing is absolute nonsense. You don't contribute a single word in meetings, and now you're playing on your phone. Do you not want to graduate? Oh no. I was in deep trouble. My chest tightened with panic. The other students held their breath, their eyes darting toward me in unison. Some looked sympathetic, others confused, and a few just seemed relieved it wasn't them. I had always been a straight-A student, sailing through my undergraduate years on a sea of compliments from teachers and admiration from peers. But ever since I started my master's program, I had lost count of how many times Kevin had torn me to pieces over everything from my thesis proposal to my drafts. My face burned with shame. Tears welled in my eyes. But online, he was always so incredibly sweet to me. He would baby me, begging for kisses and telling me how much he adored his mistress. I tried to explain, my voice trembling violently from frustration and nerves. I was just texting my boyfriend. Nobody cares, and nobody wants to hear about your personal drama, Iris. Kevin cut me off coldly. If you can't separate your personal life from professional settings, you can request a transfer to another advisor. I won't supervise you anymore. Kevin wasn't just the youngest tenured professor in the department. His father owned a massive publicly traded company and held significant shares in the university. If he refused to advise me, no other professor would dare take me in for fear of offending him. I would be completely ruined. The blood drained from my face. After a long, agonizing pause, I managed to squeeze out a few words. I understand. It won't happen again. The moment we stepped out of the science building, Nadia, my senior lab partner, turned to me with deep concern. Iris, what were you thinking, trying to video call your boyfriend right in the middle of a meeting? Because I just found out Kevin is my online boyfriend, and I was losing my mind with excitement. But looking back, it was incredibly risky. I glanced around to make sure we were alone before lowering my voice. Nadia, do you think Professor Pendleton would ever date someone online? Nadia blinked, then let out a laugh. Are you serious? He's the department's untouchable, cold-hearted bachelor. He barely even talks to women. There's no way he's doing online dating. Her expression quickly turned serious. Don't tell me you believed those internet rumors about confessing to your advisor to pass your thesis? Those are just fake stories for views, Iris. Don't fall for them. He's already frustrated with you. If you pull a stunt like that, you'll never graduate. My heart sank. I had thought I struck gold, but from Kevin's perspective, it would look like deliberate harassment or revenge. After all, I had made him call me mistress, ordered him to wear a chest harness, and demanded photos of his abs. And just minutes ago, I had told him to do it for me. Oh my God, it was so embarrassing, so terrifying. He could never find out it was me. I forced a calm smile. I was just curious. I'd never actually do something like that. Nadia sighed in relief. Not long after I got back to my apartment, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Kevin. Baby, I'm free now. Should I do it for you?
Oh, God.
The thought of Kevin, who was always so buttoned up and severe in person, suddenly stripping down for me in private was overwhelming. The contrast was wild. More importantly, he was my advisor. I didn't dare push my luck anymore. I replied, "No need." Kevin panicked instantly. Why? Am I not attractive to you anymore? Or are you mad because I didn't do it right away? No wonder you didn't accept the money. Baby, I'm sorry.
I really am.
Please, just give me a chance to show you. Then came a video call request. My heart fluttered with the ringing. Maybe because he had just yelled at me so brutally, seeing him act so submissive and desperate gave me a twisted sense of satisfaction. I wanted to make him squirm a little more. I wanted to tease him, maybe even break things off after messing with him. But then I looked at the $5,200 transfer.
Fine.
I'd treat this like a job and keep playing along for now. But a little humiliation was definitely in order. I accepted the call. As always, we kept our faces out of the frame by mutual agreement. Baby, are you mad at me? His deep, smooth voice drifted through the speaker. I had never connected it to Kevin before, but now that I knew, the resemblance was unmistakable. Afraid he might recognize my voice, I typed my response. Not mad. Go ahead, I'm watching. Kevin let out a breath of relief. His tone turned eager. Okay. I'm starting now. I watched, unable to tear my eyes away. Kevin unbuckled his belt.
Ah.
The gasp escaped my lips before I could stop it, and I dropped my phone onto the bed in a panic. Even though I talked a big game online and loved reading spicy web novels to de-stress, I was 24, and this was the first time I had ever seen a man's, well, let alone my advisor's. The sheer shock of it was dizzying. Kevin's voice came through, laced with worry. Baby, what happened? Did I scare you? I slapped my burning cheeks and declined the call. I typed back deliberately. Are you sure you're fully developed? Kevin. Question mark. Me. The male leads in the books I read are usually 12 inches. Kevin. Where on earth did you read that? Kevin. Those books are pure fiction. Mine is over 8 inches, which is plenty. Honestly, I was worried you wouldn't be able to handle it. The absolute nerve of this man. My face burned even hotter. I definitely couldn't handle it. You're too old anyway. I prefer younger guys. Maybe I should find a college student instead. Kevin was 30, so this blow was bound to hurt. Sure enough, he immediately tried to video call again. When I declined, he sent a frantic voice note. Baby, you can't look at other men. Please. Whatever you want, whatever size or shape, I can look into cosmetic procedures. I'll do anything. Please. Don't leave me, mistress. By the end, his voice was actually trembling. I smiled, thoroughly satisfied. Remembering I still had a thesis to revise, I decided to torture him a bit longer. We'll see how you behave. I have work to do. Kevin typed back quickly. What kind of work? Can I help you with it? He absolutely could, but I didn't dare say it. Someone called my writing total garbage. I have to rewrite the whole thing. Kevin sounded heartbroken for me. That guy has zero taste. He sounds like an absolute piece of trash. I burst out laughing. He was literally insulting himself. Baby, send me the details. I'll come handle him for you and make him apologize on his knees.
Right.
He was just trying to trick me into meeting up. Kevin and I had met on a streaming app. I was a sleep aid streamer who never showed her face, and he was one of my subscribers. My parents wanted me to enter the workforce as soon as possible and find a decent husband while I was still young, so I had to pursue my master's degree in secret. Between earning my own tuition and living expenses and renting an apartment off campus to keep my secret safe, I was constantly broke. Once I realized Kevin was deeply attached to me and incredibly wealthy, I started playing hard to get. I would ignore his messages or go days without streaming, claiming I was busy with private clients. Kevin would immediately send money to buy my time. I would act cold and aloof. There are plenty of guys offering me more. Why should I choose you? Kevin's voice would sound so pitiful. What do you want then? Me. I want a loyal, obedient puppy. One that only belongs to me and calls me mistress. Kevin replied with a simple, cold, oh. I thought I had pushed him too far. But then he texted. Do I need to show off a bit? Do you want to see my abs? Abs? I figured he'd just send some stolen internet photo, which I didn't mind. Me? Yes. Then he sent a voice note, his voice low and incredibly seductive. I only show my girlfriend. Be my girl, and I'll do whatever you want. And just like that, we became a couple. But to me, it was just a lucrative side gig. To protect myself, we agreed never to share photos of our faces or reveal our real names. Who would have guessed he was Kevin Pendleton? I replied with mock annoyance. I'm just worried you'll show me something ugly. Don't come over. Don't bother me today, or I'll block you. Kevin went quiet as promised. I pocketed the money and put my phone away. But the moment midnight struck, as if he had been watching the clock, he sent a tearful voice message. Baby, it's a new day now. Are you asleep? Whatever you don't like about me, I can change. I want to marry you. Please don't throw me away. A mistress shouldn't abandon her puppy. Mistress, please just reply to me. Having stayed up late to revise my thesis, so I could hand it in the next morning, I had been feeling incredibly resentful. But hearing him cry about wanting to marry me was like a wave of pure sweetness. My anger evaporated. I typed, Am I really that important to you? Kevin's voice was raspy, but incredibly firm. Incredibly important. You're the light of my life. Every single day of these past 2 years with you has been the happiest of my life. You mean more to me than my own life. Let's meet up. Let's get married. Let me take care of you forever. My ears burned. My heart softened. Despite his cold, critical, and arrogant attitude in real life, when I looked at his face, his wealth, his competence, and his current needy, adorable state, I was winning at life. I happily replied, I hear you. Let's talk about meeting up in June. I needed to get my degree in hand before showing my face. Kevin was ecstatic. The next morning, I went to the department building to hand in my draft. Kevin frowned at his monitor. Are you sure you followed my notes on this revision? Panic surged in my chest as I leaned closer to the screen.
Yes.
Is it still wrong? Kevin's face remained expressionless, the atmosphere in his office dropping to freezing point. I nervously fidgeted with the hem of my shirt. Should I take it back and fix it again? But I don't think I know how to make it any better. Kevin glanced up at me. Have a little faith in yourself. Let's just say the path to success is always full of setbacks. I blinked, surprised by a sudden change of tone. Was he being nice because he was anticipating our meetup? But before that tiny spark of joy could spread, Kevin threw a bucket of ice water over me. Setbacks are fine, but you're treating this like a joke. Me, embarrassed-faced at JPG. Kevin pointed his cursor at a paragraph. What is this section? Did an AI write this for you? No, I wrote it myself. You wrote this. Kevin let out a cold, sharp laugh. If you hand in garbage like this next time, I won't approve you for the defense. You can just apply for an extension of your graduation. A loud buzzing filled my ears. I had taken on so much pressure, keeping this master's program a secret from my parents. If I didn't graduate, these 3 years would be a complete waste. How would I explain this to myself, let alone my family? And this was the same guy who had promised to stand up for me last night, yet now he was the one driving me to the brink of insanity. I completely snapped. I slammed my hand down on his desk. Kevin, are you seriously going to make your own wife fail her graduation? Kevin froze, his head snapping up to look at my face. Iris, calm down. As an adult, you should know that throwing tantrums and crying won't solve anything. Kevin couldn't empathize with my breakdown. He sat there, perfectly composed and utterly cold, analyzing my failures once again. Yet this was the same man who cried and begged for my attention, just because I replied to his text late. If tears solved nothing, why did he cry so easily? The double standard was infuriating. I stared at him.
Suddenly, it clicked.
The cold, unflappable, untouchable man sitting in front of me was the real Kevin. The online version was probably just a persona he used to amuse himself and keep me interested. He didn't actually love me. The realization made me even angrier. Fortunately, even though I had used the word wife, he didn't connect it to his online mistress. He just assumed I was losing my mind. I wiped away a tear. But I am losing my mind. Kevin's eyes softened slightly with disappointment. His tone quieted down. How about this? Put the thesis aside for a few days and get some rest. If you still feel overwhelmed, I can set you up with a counselor. I know you and Nadia are close. I'll have her keep you company today. I have other matters to attend to. Kevin made a quick call, and Nadia came to take me away. Since Nadia worked at the university after graduating, she brought me back to her staff apartment. She tried to comfort me, That's the first time I've ever seen you cry, Iris. But compared to the other students who get torn apart by professors, your resilience and capability are actually much stronger. I sipped the iced coffee she bought me. But Professor Pendleton is like a demon. I feel like he's actively trying to prevent me from graduating. Nadia shook her head gently. That's not true.
He's not targeting you.
He's just incredibly demanding with all his students. Just push through it. You'll graduate fine. But I was terrified I wouldn't make it. I needed a distraction. That evening, I dragged Nadia out to a local bar. Since I was spending the money Kevin had given me online, I didn't care about the bill. I ordered round after round of drinks and snacks. As the alcohol started to kick in, I noticed Nadia answering a video call. Professor Pendleton? Nadia's voice sounded surprised. Oh no, this is Iris's phone. I leaned in, pointing toward the stage. Nadia, put the phone away. Look at those dancers over there. Let's hire one. Nadia quickly covered my mouth to stop me from saying anything worse. She gave the person on the other end of the line our location before hanging up. Professor Pendleton is coming to pick us up. Don't say anything crazy in front of him. My head was spinning, and the warning went right through my ears. Kevin arrived incredibly fast. His hair was slightly windswept, but it didn't take away from his striking looks. Just standing there in the crowded bar, he drew everyone's eyes. Nadia greeted him respectfully, but to me, he looked like a ghost. I muttered grumpily, "Why do I see you everywhere? Are you stalking me to ruin my life?" Afraid Kevin would take offense, Nadia quickly intervened. "She really respects you, Professor. She's just in a bad mood and had a bit too much to drink. Please don't take it personally." "I won't," Kevin said softly. For once, his cold demeanor was entirely gone. He leaned down, his dark eyes studying my flushed cheeks with a complex expression. His voice was incredibly gentle. "I'll take you home. Can you stand up and walk?" I couldn't stand his fake sweetness. I yelled at him. "I don't need you to take me anywhere. I absolutely hate you." Nadia panicked and tried to cover my mouth again, but Kevin stopped her with a wave of his hand. Those sharp, perceptive eyes of his were soft as they rested on me. "Why do you hate me?" "Because you won't let me graduate." As the alcohol lowered my defenses, my frustrations poured out. I kept this whole program a secret from my parents, hoping a master's degree would help me get a better job. Now I might not even get the degree. I have zero work experience, and I'm getting older. I'm going to be ruined. People around us began to stare. Kevin frowned slightly, speaking softly. "I never said I wouldn't let you graduate. Let's get out of here first." Nadia, also wanting to avoid a scene, grabbed our bags and stood up. The moment she moved, I lost my support and slipped sideways onto the sofa. Seeing this, Kevin reached out. He pulled me up from the sofa, wrapping one arm around my back and the other beneath my knees, lifting me effortlessly into a bridal carry. Nadia's eyes went wide with shock. The sudden movement startled me, my body suspended in the air. "What are you doing?" Kevin was tall and strong, carrying me easily as he walked toward the exit, murmuring softly, "You can't walk straight. I'm carrying you to my car." I struggled trying to get down, but his arms were like iron bands, holding me securely against his chest. I was furious. I pounded on his shoulder. "Put me down. I don't want you. I hate looking at you. I really do." Kevin's throat moved, a flicker of panic crossing his eyes. But he only tightened his grip, keeping me steady as he carefully placed me into the passenger seat of his car. I woke up the next afternoon with a pounding headache. I rubbed my temples and looked around. It was an unfamiliar room with unfamiliar sheets. After a brief moment of panic, I realized I had no memory of how I got here. I remembered going to the bar with Nadia. I scrambled for my phone and dialed her number. Nadia quickly reassured me, saying she had stayed with me at the hotel because I was too drunk to give them my address. She had to leave for work early in the morning and didn't want to wake me. But then she dropped a terrifying piece of information. "You cried, screamed, and practically wrestled with Professor Pendleton last night. You even got tears and snot all over his shirt, and you know how much of a neat freak he is." I blinked out. My graduation felt further away than ever. I groaned. "How did he even end up with us?" Nadia sighed. "He came to pick us up. But honestly, I think he realized he drove you to the edge. He kept apologizing and trying to calm you down. You don't have to worry, I don't think he's going to hold it against you." Still, I couldn't help but feel anxious. After a quick wash, I stepped out of the room. The moment I opened the door, I saw Kevin standing straight at the end of the hallway. He wore a crisp white shirt, buttoned all the way to the top, and tailored black trousers. He radiated an air of quiet sophistication. But as he looked down at me, his gaze seemed almost hesitant, as if he were afraid of me. Was Nadia right? Was he actually worried he had broken his student? I suppressed a smirk. Good. He deserved to feel a little rattled after being so cold to me. But since he was still my advisor, I couldn't afford to push my luck. Just as I was about to apologize for the night before, Kevin spoke in a low, gravelly voice. Iris, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Now that you know, are you still going to hold back my graduation? I interrupted. I didn't want to hear his polite apologies or excuses. I only cared about one thing. Kevin's eyes softened, his tone firm.
No.
I let out a breath, though I was still worried. But I really can't seem to get the thesis right. I will teach you. Kevin looked at me with an earnest expression, as if I were the one in charge. In a soft, almost vulnerable tone, he delivered an incredibly firm offer. Bring your laptop to my place. I'll go through every detail with you until the draft is perfect. My eyes widened. If I had known throwing a tantrum was this effective, I would have done it months ago. To prevent him from changing his mind, I wasted no time. I went straight back to my apartment, grabbed my laptop,